Welcome to the Good Help Enabling Conversations 7-minute briefing. This 7-minute briefing is an overview of the training provided. The training provided is so we can support people to reduce the health inequalities in Rochdale Borough through positive, good, quality conversations. Number 1. Opportunity. When we encounter somebody new for the first time, it is always good to create a first impression and have the feeling of being approachable through good use of body language. Examples of these could be eye contact, open body posture, such as open arms, allowing the person to perceive that we are open in our approach and are looking to create a contact. We may have a number of different opportunities on a daily basis when this may occur, such as queuing for a coffee, seeing someone enter an area that may look lost, scared, or unsure of what to do, or even where to go. Placing ourselves in their shoes and understanding an empathetic approach to a situation can help to change perspective and help to consider others more. We can make every contact count through engaging interactions and conversations to ensure that we give someone 100% of our attention. This will help to establish trust, rapport, and create a positive and helpful feeling for others. You will already have experienced this a number of times throughout your daily life. When we slow our analysing down and reflect about the interactions we have had and will have, this can help us build confidence for the future and create a positive starting point for a conversation, and maybe make small changes to our approach the next time we meet somebody new. Number 2. Startup. Once a connection is created, it is always good to start with seeking permission to have a conversation. This may be a simple, "Do you mind me asking?" or "Would you like me to help?" and then introducing yourself. Good use of open questions are great to start off with, such as "How are you?" or other questions you may use yourself on a daily basis. The aim of this section is to create reassurance through your verbal actions to ensure that they match your visual actions carried out in the opportunity section. Again, this is something we will do on a number of times throughout the course of a day. It's good to reflect and think about our approach, and if we would like to change it in the future. Small little adjustments from reflective thinking can have huge impacts in the future. Number 3. Listening. This is probably one of the hardest things that we can do when we're having a conversation, is to actively listen. It takes time, effort, energy, and great focus to listen to what somebody is actually saying for a long period of time. We may move through different stages of listening to get to active listening. Familiar stages such as pretend or selective listening are easy to fall into because it's something that we may do more often. When we move up to attentive and actively listening, it's here we can really understand, empathise and connect through conversation. During the training we discuss active listening to recognise the different stages of listening, and we also do some activity around practising listening, but just really listening. When we do, we can identify key aspects or words which are important in somebody's life. Utilising these same words in conversations later on can increase trust and rapport because it shows you have been attentive. The use of good open questions allows a person to speak and answer in depth rather than using closed questions and generating yes or no responses. Actively listening allows us to identify key words that we may wish to return to when exploring further later on in the conversation. Number 4. Exploring. Setting a safe environment can help to build trust when asking permission to explore or discuss information further. Sentences such as "We can talk about this in a safe place over there if you would like" can help to ensure confidentiality is achieved. We can then move on to a further use of more open questions to generate a greater understanding. Examples such as "How does that make you feel?" "How does that make you think?" or "What has worked well for you in the past?" allows exploration to become a little bit more deeper and understand the person's situation that little bit more. During this training we will also include the use of a couple of models to consider. The first is transactional analysis, which allows us to understand where that person is currently at in regards to a parent, adult or child ego state. Also, when exploring, misinformation can often be discussed, and it's important to feel confident enough to approach these misconceptions and challenge them appropriately. The challenge sandwich model develops this further on how we can have an adaptive and relative approach to discuss individuals' opinions that little bit more. Open questions will be a large part within this section. We may not give you all the questions to ask, but we will give you room to think and create good questions that you will be happy using yourself. Open questions can help to build rapport, empathy, and can demonstrate that you have their attention via active listening. Number 5. Summarise. When having a conversation, it can be useful to have a small period of reflection and summarise areas that have been discussed. This further enhances active listening and can also give you the opportunity to clarify any areas that you may be unsure of. Questions such as, "Can I just check that I've heard everything correctly?" And, "From what I have heard, am I right in saying that?" These can enhance the conversation you are having because you are demonstrating that you have been actively listening. Key words that a person used may also be useful. By using similar language can help to increase rapport and trust. These phrases or descriptive moments can be clarified to justify good listening. Once you have both summarised and created a visual summary of how things are, you can then move on to making a decision together based on what it is they would like to do, not what we think they would want to do. Number 6. Decision. When summarising and making a joint decision on the next course of action, this could be as simple as signposting some information for relevant services, or passing on the phone number, website address, or even arranging a follow-up call. This is a really important part of the Good Help process by supporting people into the Good Help system, by asking their permission to take their information and pass it on to get further support at a later date. Understanding that the person has made a decision on what support they would like is more likely to lead to adherence for support in the future. You may have made their conversation as enjoyable as possible and supported them to finalise a motivated outcome. This will ensure that they have been listened to and have self-generated the support they would like to receive. It would then be time to close down and wrap up the conversation. Number 7. Close down. The close down is just as an important part of the process as all the other stages, including the first impression and opportunity stage. You can briefly summarise again and go through any final action points and then thank them for their time. This is really important as their time and yours is very precious. Valuing that and saying thank you can have a huge impact and a good lasting impression. You can include that you've really enjoyed your conversation and that it's been a positive experience for you and it has helped you develop your good help skills in having positive conversations. It is also worthwhile noting that if any notes have been taken or be required to be passed on, that it is done at this stage. Trying to remember that doing it later may not be the best practice. We all lead very busy lives and may forget in doing so. Even if it is the smallest of details, anything is better than nothing. Thank you for your time. For further information, please call Living Well on 01706 75 1190.